Hi there, Andrew here. I love to be entertained, but I have no patience. So I give every new show I watch only one episode to hook me. Welcome to Debut Review. A League of Their Own. I saw the original movie. I don't remember if I saw it in the theater or not, but I seen it 1992? 30 years ago? Think so? Sounds right. Gina Davis, Tom Hanks, Madonna, Rosie O'Donnell, lots of people. No idea who's in it. Well, actually, I do know who's in this one. It is actually not on the screen, but it's... Huh, okay. I thought I'd impress you all by sneakily reading the cast, but there's a content advisory. There's smoking, alcohol use, sexual content, and foul language. It's in a bunch of different audio languages, got a bunch of different subtitles, and it's 52 minutes. Carson Shaw travels to Chicago to try out for the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League. There, she meets other women who also dream of playing pro baseball and makes connections that open up her world. Rockford local Max Chapman also comes to the tryouts, but is turned away. With the support of her best friend Clance, she must forge a new path to pursue her dream. So is the summary giving us an A and a B story? So are we gonna... So we have the Rockford Peaches, the Gina Davis and... Was it Lori Petty? And all the other characters who are there, and then we're gonna follow someone who didn't make the cut. Okay. You think they'll make the cut by the end of the series? Or maybe they'll make it onto another team, and they'll have to play each other by the end of the series. I may never know, because I may not like the episode and may not continue watching it. Although I've got high hopes for this, because I like the original movie, and even though baseball is one of the world's most boring sports, both to watch and to play, it's routinely and quite commonly a very entertaining subject for a film or series. Though I can't think of any baseball series. No, Princess Nine, baseball anime series. Pretty decent. And you wonder, it's like, baseball's so boring, and I've played baseball. There's nothing wrong with baseball. It's just a slow, boring game. I think that's what it is. I think the reason baseball... It's a great idea, it just takes so long to play, and it's a lot of waiting, both for the audience and the player. It's a lot of waiting around and not doing much with occasional sparks of action, and then waiting and waiting. Well, in film media, you can edit all the boring parts out, and you get to all the exciting stuff, and it lends itself to all kinds of different genres. Dramas and comedies. Probably do fantasy and sci-fi. I mean, it worked for Shaolin Soccer. I'm sure you could do something similar with baseball. Oh, hey, well, I mean, we've had... I'm sure Air Bud has played baseball at some point. There's a movie about a giant cat playing baseball. There's a movie about a gorilla playing baseball. So there you go. There you go. It's why it's easily adaptable to film. So, all right, League of Their Own. You better not fumble the ball. Well, okay, there's no fumbling balls in baseball. You better not foul out. No, balk. I know my baseball lingo. Well, shoot. It's really, really good. Which means I need to watch the remaining 7 episodes, which are all about 50 to 60 minutes apiece. I don't know if I have time for that. But I'm gonna make time. Because good shows are worth making time for, methinks. So, I don't know that I have a whole heck of a lot to say about this other than it's really good. I really quite enjoyed it and look forward to watching the rest. Baseball, as I said, is boring. And I think those who write baseball stories know that. And because baseball is boring, they know, well, we can't rely on the excitement of baseball to carry us through. So we better have some really strong characters, preferably going through an interesting narrative. At least something more than, will they win the game? And that's generally how baseball movies and shows go. You have a team of differing personalities, and the fun is, will they be able to come together and win the game? Which is not quite as important as will they get their individual poops together. Because everyone has their own little mini narrative. And this show appears to be no different. There's been no real baseball in this first episode, which is 50-some minutes. There's the tryout, so you see them run and throw balls and hit balls with bats and stuff like that. But there's no game yet. It's mostly just introducing all the characters. And all the characters so far are really wonderful. I like all of them. I mean, except like the guy who owns the candy bar company that's putting on the women's baseball league. He's a sexist asshole. But that's okay because the show knows he's a sexist asshole. I think that's... In media, sometimes it can be difficult to portray crappy things like, you know, racism, sexism, bigotry in general. Because sometimes there can be a fine line between depicting something for various narrative purposes and promoting it. Or at least giving off a feeling that this is just how it is and, you know, whatever. So I think how to deal with that is to always make sure that your story, your world, your authorial intent and point of view is clear, that you understand who the bad guys are and why they're bad. It's clear that all the racist and sexist and otherwise bigoted peoples and points of view in this story are wrong and bad. So it's okay to have them in the story. I actually watched a movie the other night that had some racism in it. And I don't think the movie really understood that it was being racist. Not surprising, being that it was a movie from the 50s, but even so, that's when if you follow my Twitter, you'll see me review movies, and I do get bothered by racism in movies, but it's when the movie is racist, not when there's racism in the movie. When the narrative has elements of racism or bigotry in general. I draw a line. When A Touch of Evil, Orson Welles' film from the 50s somewhere, stars Orson Welles as a Los Angeles or California police officer, and Charlton Heston as a Mexican drug police officer. DEA, something like that. Yeah. Charlton Heston. Mexican. Full brown face. Yeah. That's not good. That's just racist. And Charlie, your Spanish is terrible. My Spanish is terrible, but I'm also not playing a Mexican in a movie. He made no attempt at a Mexican accent, but it didn't feel like he just didn't care. So it came off more as, oh man, I can barely speak Spanish. There's no way I'm going to be able to do an accent, so I'm just not going to try. I think that was the right decision. The more righter decision would have been to, oh, I don't know, hire a Mexican actor. I'm sure you could have found at least one in Southern California. You know what country is really close to Southern California? Mexico. Seriously, from where I sit, it's like 15 miles away. Not too far. And hell, I don't have to go all the way over to Mexico. There's lots of people from Mexico right here. You've got a talent pool. I'm talking about the wrong movie. But yeah. Oh, they did get well, no, the Mexican youth gang was mostly white. It's the whitest Mexican gang I've ever seen. I'm glad they're inclusive. I mean, they had white guys and an Italian guy, I think, playing Mexican. So, which is kind of funny. You do see that a lot in that era of film. When they try to do ethnic, it's almost always like Italian, or at least has some Italian heritage. Like, what did I watch a couple months ago? I think they had a Don Amici playing Argentinian or something like that. It's like, ah, man. So, I mean, we've still got so far to go in this simple ass area alone. But I mean, at least we have made progress. But I mean, it's like punching yourself in the groin, you know? Well, I don't punch myself in the groin near as much as I used to, so progress. It's like, I mean, good on ya. I'm glad to hear that you're not punching yourself in the groin as often as you used to. I'm glad to hear you're making progress on that area. But, that really shouldn't have been a problem in the first place. You know, just not punching yourself in the groin seems to be like something we should not have ever needed to be a problem in the first place. It's like, why was that ever a problem? That seems needless. Punching yourself in the groin. Well, I'm getting better. Just don't do that. I think the point I'm trying to make is, don't be a bigot. Just don't. You'll be a better person and you make the world a better place. For you and everyone else who lives in it. If you're like sitting there drinking your chai tea or whatever and you're thinking, I'm gonna do something bigoted. Maybe take a moment, take another sip, keep the pinky up and think, you know what? Maybe I won't do something bigoted. Yes, that would be the better choice. So A League of Their Own is good. We've got a variety of characters who are all interesting. It's also a very funny show. Everyone has their own... it's definitely a comedy. It's definitely heightened, but the humor is selling. The jokes are landing. I'm loving all the characters. even though all the, even with all of their messy problems, like a lot of the characters in this show, not perfect people, they've got problems, but they are lovely and charming, and I'm really looking forward to following them through the rest of the series. There's, to give you an example of just the heightened humor that's working for me, this movie starts with our lead running after a train. So it starts with Carson, I think her name is. She's like, "Oh, I'm gonna leave home and go to the tryouts," and running after the train, and she just trips and face plants. So it starts with a pratfall, and she doesn't just like horror movie and fall over. She just boom, face plant, legs go up. I mean, it's the funniest damn thing. It's really well done. Kudos to the stunt performer who did that. Or if it was the lead actor who did a face plant, I doubt it, but kudos to whoever took that fall, because that was a good one. So we start with a face plant. That's good. There's one gal from, where's she? Cuba or something like that? And she doesn't speak much English beyond, a couple lines from Oklahoma, some of the show tunes, the lyrics from some of the songs in Oklahoma, and she's lost because she has no idea what anyone's saying to her. And one of the other gals hears her speak in Spanish, and speaks to her in Spanish, and she says, "Oh my God, you speak Spanish?" She goes, "Yes," and just hugs her and jumps up and down. It's like, "Oh my God, you speak Spanish! It's so amazing!" It's like, it's so over the top. It's really, really funny. There's a wonderful scene where, if you've seen the movie A League of Their Own, the movie addresses sexism throughout. And it has one scene that touches on racism and acknowledges it and then drops it. So during the tryouts in the beginning part of the movie, one of the balls rolls out into the outfield, and there's a black woman standing out there, and Gina Davis is like, "Hey, throw it here." And she picks it up and she chucks it past Gina Davis all the way across the field to Rosie O'Donnell or whoever the hell was at home plate, and nods knowingly and walks away. It's like, oh yeah, racism is a thing too. Was a thing, is a thing. Yeah. And then the movie drops it. The B story that that was mentioned in the what's her name, Max and Clance is her name, who's a big comics dork, which is wonderful. Similar character. She shows up to tryouts. They won't even let her try out because she's black, you see. So, it's like, look, we're okay being really, really sexist, like, misogynist level of, sexism. Where was I going with that? I don't know how to phrase that. So, erase the last 20 seconds. So, yes, they will not let, a black woman on the team. So, she goes back to Rockford, which is where the home of the Peaches, which is where our main characters are on. And her mom owns a barber shop. Well, she lied to her mom about where she was going. She says, "Oh yeah, I'm going to the park to a jazz festival." And mom says, "Oh yeah? Who was playing?" "Oh, well, this band and that band and stuff." "Really? What songs did they play?" And one of the ladies getting her hair done at the barber shop is like, she's like, "What?" And her mom goes, "Oh, for crying out loud, it don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing." And she's like, "I was trying to help you." It's like, the ladies in the barber shop are hilarious. The mom, even though she's in the wrong, and well, she recognizes the world for what it is and is trying to do right by her daughter, but narratively she's holding her back. So you could easily villainize that character, but she's wonderful too. All the characters work really, really well. And very funny show. So hopefully the rest of the episodes are just as good as the first, because man, there's 7 more hours of this. Although I can't recall many, if any, TV shows that had just a really, really strong first episode and then just petered out. I've seen shows run too long, like the later seasons dropped off in quality, but it's rare you get like a season that starts strong and then just tapers off. So, you know, things are looking good. I don't recognize any of the actors in this show. Doesn't matter, but there you go. Great performances so far. Digging the characters. We've got some interesting personal stuff with some of the characters. You know, one of them has like high anxiety. You've got the 2 best friends. You've got Max and Clance, who are be interesting to see where their journey takes them. I love the fact that her friend is a comics dork who's complaining about the narrative tropes in Wonder Woman. That's a ton of fun. Yeah, if you have access to Amazon Prime, I highly recommend this one. I really liked it. And although a lot of my recent reviews have been of films and shows that I haven't liked, I do still want to always impress that I like liking things. I much prefer to like things. Unfortunately, when I hit an episode that is just solidly good, there's like not as much to talk about. You know, it's good. I like the characters. The jokes land. It's structured well. So I end up talking about a movie I didn't think worked for 20 minutes, you know? So I guess movies and shows that have flaws are easier to talk about, but sure do like it when their flaws are minimal. Yes. So, League of Their Own. Trey Good. Yeah. Bye.